Hello, everybody. This is Barbara Ann, and this is my channel, Straight Out of Context. I just want to say hello, hi, and share with you a news video that I just saw. And please excuse that I have no makeup on or anything right now. Forgive me. I don't usually look so undone. But here, let's just dive right in.
Tonight, police in Oklahoma releasing preliminary autopsy findings in the death of a non-binary teen who died after a fight at school. 16-year-old Nex Benedict dying at the hospital on February 8th, according to police, one day after they were involved in a fight at the Owasso High School West campus just outside of Tulsa. A school Nex's mother told The Independent where the teen was bullied for their gender identity. Owasso police now saying the medical examiner has determined Nex did not die as a result of trauma and that the cause of death is pending until toxicology results and other tests come in. It's unclear if the fight was connected to the bullying, but here is what we do know. According to the school, a quote, physical altercation started in the bathroom on February 7th. The fight lasted less than 2 minutes before other students and a staff member broke it up. The students involved were able to walk themselves to the assistant principal's and nurse's office. The students gave statements to district administrators and guardians were contacted. The nurse determined an ambulance was not needed, but advised one student's guardian to take them to the hospital for further evaluation. According to police, at around 3:30 p.m., Nex's guardian called police to the Bailey Medical Center, where the school resource officer took a statement. The next day, the Owasso police found out the teen was rushed back to the hospital in the evening and pronounced dead. Owasso Public Schools says it followed proper protocol and called the death devastating. Nex's mother, Sue Benedict, releasing a statement to NBC's Tulsa affiliate acknowledging initial confusion over the teen's name in the media, saying in part, quote, "We are sorry for not using their name correctly, and as parents, we are still learning the correct forms. Please do not bully us for our ignorance. I lost my child. The headstone will have their correct name of their choice."
I'll be honest, at first, I didn't feel anything. I couldn't.
Former schoolmate Alexandra Davison saying the loss is traumatic.
What are we supposed to do about that? Besides grief?
It's not just Nex's story. It is a story of what is happening because of so much hate that is targeted towards the trans and non-binary community in this country.
Across the country, more than 500 anti-LGBTQ+ bills were proposed last year, and 75 were made into laws across 23 states. In the past, Oklahoma successfully passing bills ranging from banning gender-affirming care to restricting bathrooms. Currently, the state has 54 anti-LGBTQ+ bills in the pipeline, according to the ACLU, the most of any state in the country.
It's not just the bills. It's this culture of violent rhetoric and actions that are really traumatizing our community.
While many questions remain about Nex's death, it's clear the loss is being felt far beyond their small town.
And Stephen Romo joins us now. Stephen, a lot of questions to start, just absolute devastation for that young child, a 16-year-old who is no longer here. But let's talk a little more about the legislation that is at issue. You mentioned the massive amount of what the ACLU calls anti-LGBTQ+ legislation in Oklahoma. What about at the local level? What sort of things were happening within this small community?
Yeah, Owasso is a small suburb outside of Tulsa. Owasso Public Schools, the school district, no stranger to anti-LGBTQ controversy. In 2022, a teacher was targeted by the far-right social media account Libs of TikTok. That teacher eventually resigned. They had posted videos affirming LGBTQ+ students. And just last month, the leader of Libs of TikTok was appointed to a state library advisory committee by State Superintendent Ryan Walters. Meanwhile, Ryan Walters is facing a lawsuit for trying to prevent trans students from changing their information on their school record. So this is a very divisive issue in Oklahoma, and Owasso is no exception to that. But of course, we can't lose sight of the loss of this 16-year-old, this devastating loss for this community and friends and family as well, and all of the questions that still surround this death, Allison.
Okay, so first and foremost, My condolences, my love, my support, my prayers go out to her family. But you can't blame this on hateful rhetoric because you don't know the circumstances yet or the cause of death. That has not been released. That is very premature to jump to that assumption and to those conclusions. Secondly, I want to state that this is supposed to be the generation of all inclusion, right? She was beat up by other classmates, other students, other young people. Not a hateful 35-year-old or a hateful 45-year-old, right? And where in the hell were the staff? Sounds to me like the mother and family has a lawsuit, because this is not at the bottom line about gender, identity, anything like that. This is simply about a fight that resulted in somebody dying. They always have to put the extra circumstances and everything in there and try to make the context fit a narrative. There is no narrative here. A 16-year-old child died because other children were physically violent. But did she die by trauma? I don't know. They're reporting not. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll definitely follow up with that and see what happens. But prayers and condolences definitely go out to her family. And I hope that they get an attorney and sue civilly. You know, and that's that. That's just my opinion on that. It's sad. It's sad because I thought that these young kids with the all-inclusive everything and the modern age, I thought the young people were supposed to be the future, the smarter ones, the ones that were going to make all of that not matter. And with all of the bills and legislation that has been passed, how could something like this even happen? I am mind blown. And I'm not going to say my opinion about gender or anything like that, because we don't go from 3% of the population being gay, lesbian, bi, or transgender to all of a sudden over 38% increase in the last 5 years of females between the ages of 11 and 27 are all of a sudden fitting in that category. No, my generation didn't all of a sudden have a bunch of girls that are lesbian or trans or bisexual. This is a trend. This is a trend. And that's fine, just like any trend. Clothes and a haircut do not affirm your gender or your gender identity. Neither does a surgery. All of that social issue needs to be pushed aside because they always put that extra in there with news. This comes down to ignorance on a staff level, inattentive staff, and comes down to the fact that every generation is always going to have some kind of violence, bullying, racism. Yes, that happens. Is at the core and the cause of the fight, which then led to a fatal outcome? I don't know, but the news wants to make you believe it is. So they can pass more restricting bans, laws, and legislation. Because as of right now, look, it's not actually stopping anything. The laws and legislative change is doing nothing but perpetrating the same cycle of hate and abuse, and is creating it even more. That's what I'm seeing. However, like I said once, twice, 3 times already, condolences and prayers to that mother, and I hope she has a really good attorney or is talking to somebody, getting some free legal advice, because she has a lawsuit right there against the school. They should have been there and stepping in and watching that bathroom for that to happen. They should have intervened right away. And that's all I got to say. Amen, and have a great day, everybody.